or signal, all these issues. Just I like to conclude the discussions with one more illustration that there is a signal. Say consider one signal xt. This is like that. Now, if you multiply this xt with ut, what will happen? Now we know our ut, it is a step function. So when you multiply xt with ut, the negative part of the signal will be simply removed because u is 0 for negative t. So ultimately our signal will look like this. So this thing we call it ft. Okay. Now therefore we can say that ft equal to 0 for t less than 0. Okay. So when we get this type of signal, this is called a causal signal. A causal signal, when the observer starts observation from t equal to 0 onwards, then only the signal is observed by the observer. That signal is called the causal signal. But before starting the observation, if the signal lies already, this value exists, it is having some non-zero value, then we say that the signal is not causal. So this signal is non-causal, and that signal is causal. Don't be casual with causal. It is causal signal. Okay. Now, if we consider another signal, say phi t, which is equal to f minus t, just replace t with minus t. So what will be there? It will be x minus t, u minus t. Okay. So it will be the mirror image of this ft. So it will be like something like that one. Okay. So that signal here we can write phi t equal to 0 for t greater than equal to 0. So it is 0 in the right side. This type of signal is called anti-causal signal. Anti-causal signal. Okay. Also, if you multiply xt with u minus t, what will happen? What is our u minus t? Our u minus t is something like this one. Okay. Is a time reverse signal. So if we multiply xt with u minus t, that multiplied with u minus t, the right part of the xt will be removed. So it will be something like that one. So we call it gt. So this signal is also, we see that gt equal to 0 for t greater than equal to 0. So this is also another anti-causal signal. So this is also anti-causal signal. This is also anti-causal signal. The look of the signals are simply different, but they are anti-causal in that sense. Okay. Now, so that is the causality of a system, signal. Now I want to say something on some aspects of system. I don't want to say too much on system because in the other part of this subject, you will learn lot more thing on systems. Just for our discussion, for our relevance, I am discussing some small things on systems. What is a system? It is a process, a collection of job, tasks, by which when some input signal is taken, is applied, some another output signal will be coming out. So that is a system. So our xt is the input and yt is the output. So our yt will be a function of simply f of xt. So it's a mathematical representation between input and output. Here. So that is so our system is a mathematical representation of input signal and output signal. Here we consider only one input and one output, single input, single output system. We call it SISO system, single input, single output. There are multiple inputs, output, single input, multiple output, single output, systems. These are called SIMO, MIMO, MISO, all the different type of things. I don't want to say all these things right now. So a system is a mathematical representation of input signal and output signal. Okay, it is represented by that particular thing. Next. Okay. Now, once we know, now next thing is how to define the causality of a system. Causality of systems. So how to define? Okay, when to say that a system is causal or non-causal? What is how? Okay, without one definition is that when the present output of a system, when the present output of a system does not depend on future input. Okay, the system is called a causal one, a causal system. When the present output or output at present instant does not depend on future input, then it is called a causal system. Say one thing may be that, say your father may be beating you too much in an anticipation that your future is dark. Okay, you are not studying at all or your future is dark. So whether your future is dark or bright, that is not yet found. You have to wait for some amount, for some more time, but the beating is readily felt in terms of some pain. So, okay, the present output, it is totally based on some input, some anticipation of input. That is, your future is dark, which is not yet observed right now. It is just an anticipation. So this is the example of one non-causal system. Okay. So the non-causal system is always anticipative in nature. It is always anticipative in nature. The input is just the future input. Okay, but the output is readily observed, readily found. So a non-causal system is anticipative in nature. Okay, but if the present output does not depend on future input, then it is a causal system. Causal system is not based on any anticipation. So it is called non-anticipative system. Non-anticipative system. Okay. And non-causal system, it is obviously anticipative. Anticipative system. Okay. Just I want to give one example in this context. So I better I go to the next page. Page number 2. So our problem is check whether the following systems are causal or not. A, yt equal to x square t plus x t minus 2, and B, yt equal to x t minus 2 plus x 2 minus t. Now, how to check the causality of a system? One option is just take 3 instants, t equal to some positive value, some negative value, and the 0 value. For all such things, if the present output does not depend on future input, okay, or the later input, then it is a causal system. So let, okay, we consider that let our output is what? So write down the equation first. X square t plus x t minus 2. Okay, so at t equal to 1, what happens? It is y1 equal to x square 1 plus x. Okay, 1 minus 2 means minus 1. So arbitrarily we are taking a positive value. So 1 is the present instant. T equal to 1 is the present instant. This is also present instant. And minus 1 comes before 1. Minus 1 in the time axis, minus 1 comes before 1. So it is the past input. So the output at present instant does not depend on any future input. Okay, it's okay. Therefore, then we check t equal to 0. Put, so y0 equal to x squared 0 plus x, okay, minus 2. Again, this is the present instant. This is what it is. This is also present, and that is past. Okay, past input or past instant rather. So it is again okay, no problem. System may be causal, but not yet. We cannot say. We have to apply one more input, say a negative input. Then y minus 1 equal to x square minus 1 plus x minus 3. So present output at present instant. Okay, this is also present, and that is a past instant. That this input comes minus 3 comes before minus 1. So again we see that the output, present output does not depend on future input. Therefore, present input does not depend on future input. So it is causal. Causal system. So it is causal system. Next problem. Yt equal to, so whether it is causal or not. Okay, one simple method of analysis is, since our previous problem gave us a causal system, we can expect that it will be a non-causal system. So that we can say, but we have to justify it. Let's see that thing. Again, take 3 instants. At t equal to 1, we write y1 equal to x, 1 minus 2 minus 1 plus x, 2 minus 1, 1. So this is present. This is also present. And that is past input. So present output depends on past input and present input. No problem. It may be causal. Let's check for another one, for t equal to 0. So y0 equal to x minus 2 plus x, 2. 0 is the present value, present instant. Minus 2 is past instant. And 2 is, now 2 comes after 0. As 2 comes after 0, 0 is the present instant, 2 will come later. So it is a future input, future instant. So as the present output depends on future input, at least in one case, we need not check any other cases now. We can say that the present output, sorry, the present output, it will be present output. Present output depends on future input. So present output, it depends on future, it depends on future input. So the system is non-causal. Note that the causality of a system can be checked from another point of view. This is one method of checking. This method will be useful, okay, to solve this type of problem. But there are other method of defining causality of a system that I shall tell you not now, later, when the appropriate time comes. Okay. So that is a causal system. Next, we want to say one more important thing is the linearity of a system. Next thing is, so we have discussed it, the causality. Okay, first one is the causality. Causality. Next is the linearity. Linearity of a system. Okay, so how to check linearity? Consider one system S. Okay, we apply some input xt and get our output yt. Now, if we apply one x1t and get some y1t. Okay, let this is our input. Okay, and also for the same system, we apply another input x2t and we get y2t. Clear? Now, if our input is multiplied with some k, now if input is multiplied by some k, x1t, and we find that the output is also multiplied by the same constant k. So initially we apply x1 and get y1. Now if input is multiplied by k and output is also multiplied by k, okay, then we say that this system is obeying one law, one rule, that is called the proportionality or homogeneity. Proportionality or homogeneity. So this system maintains that particular rule or law. Now, if we add the two inputs, that is, we are adding x1t and x2t, and if we find out that the output is the addition of their individual outputs, then it means that when inputs are added, outputs are also added. Then we say that the system is maintaining the law of additivity. Additivity, more popularly, it is called superposition property. Superposition property. In your circuit theory class or network analysis class, you have come across this superposition property. For one source, you get one output. When all the other sources are removed, when all the sources are placed simultaneously, the total output will be the algebraic sum of all the individual outputs caused due to the individual effect of the inputs separately. You all know that is the superposition property. Okay. Okay, then, okay, in a nutshell or as a whole, how to check the linearity of a system? If our input is the weighted combination of the two individual inputs x1 and x2, that is a x1t plus b x2t, where a and b, these are the constants, and if our output is a into y1t plus b into y2t, where a and b, these are the okay, weighting factors or constants. So if input is a weighted combination of some individual inputs, and we find another output which is also the same weighted combination, of the individual outputs, then we say that the system is a linear system. The system is obeying linearity property. Linearity property. It is a linear system. So actually here the proportionality and superposition both are actually reflected in one combination. It is reflected in one combination. Okay. So let's check Okay, let's solve one problem to check the linearity of a system. Okay, I go to the next page. Anything to ask? No. Let's see. I go to the next page. Page number 4. So our problem. Check whether the following systems are linear or not. A, dyt dt plus 3t yt equal to t square ht, and B, dyt dt plus 2yt equal to x square t, Now first we say apply x1. Let we apply x1 to the system and we get our y1. Therefore, what is the equation? dy1t dt plus 3t y1t equal to t square x1t. Okay. Again, we apply x to t to the system and we get output y to t. Then what is the equation? It will be fitted in the equation dy to t dt plus 3t y to t equal to t square x to t. Now, okay, this is our relation 1 and that is our relation 2. So multiplying 1 with a, what we get? We multiply it. We get a into d y1t dt plus 3t. Okay, a into 3t y1t equal to a into t square x1t. Or we can write, we can take a inside, a into dy1t plus 3t into a y1t equal to t square into a x1t. Okay, so this is our new input. So x1 was our old input. That is our old input, another old input. That is our old output. That is also our old output. Okay, old output. So, but here we apply our new input, which is 8 times the old input. Then our new output is what? New output is 8 times the old output. So it is new output. So ddt of new output plus 3t into new output equal to t square into new input. So ddt of output plus 3t into output equal to t square input. Here also the form of the equation remains same. Okay, the form by multiplying with a, form of the equation involving input and output does not change. It remains same. So it maintains, okay, proportionality property. It maintains proportionality property. Yeah. Similarly, we multiply it with b. If we multiply, we can get just a will be replaced by b and 1 will be replaced by 2. So it will be ddt of by2t plus 3t into by2t equal to t square into b into x2t. So again, so proportionality property is maintained here. Now we want to add them. So this is our relation 3 and 4. So adding 3 and 4, what we get? You want to add relation 3 and 4. So let's check. So go to the page now, next page, page number 5. So once we add them, ddt of this addition. If you have anything to ask, don't feel shy to ask me a question. Sorry, it is y1. A y1t plus b y2t. Well, sorry, plus pt into a y1t plus b y2t equal to e square into ax1t plus bx2t. So to ax1t plus bx2t. Yeah. So this is the new input and these two are the new output. So ddt of new output plus 3t into new output equal to t square into new input. Okay. Form of the equation does not change. Therefore, form of the equation does not change when input is the weighted combination of previous inputs and consequently output is the weighted is the same weighted combination of previous outputs. So this output is the previous combination of weighted combination of previous output. That is also the weighted combination of previous output. And in the right side, it is t square into the same weighted combination of previous inputs. So the form of the equation of does not change. So the system is linear. It maintains linearity property. Apparently, we may think that because t square is present, it is not linear, but it is not correct. It is an example of linear system. Next problem. Again, let we apply x1 to the system and we get y1. So our equation is what? The second case, the form of the equation is dy dt plus 2yt plus x square t. So following this, our equation will be dy1t dt plus 2y1t equal to x1 square t. That is this equation. Just replace t y equal to y1 and x equal to x1. That is our, okay, so it's our relation 1. Again, we apply x2 to the system and get y2. Therefore, here also get dy2t dt plus 2y2t equal to x2 square t dt. Relation 2. So now we multiply relation 1 with a. So what we get? It will be a into dy1t dt plus a into 2y1t equal to a x1 square t. So it will be ddt of a y1t plus 2 into a y1t equal to what? Now note that our new input is what? New output is that one. And new output here is that one, AY1T. So in the right side, what it should be? It should be what? That square of the new input. X1 was the new input. X1 was the input. So input is always squared. So here we expect that it should be A into X1T square of that thing. But it is really there? No, it is not equal to that. Because it is not A square, it is simply A. We are multiplying into the A. But to maintain the form of the equation, okay, it should be square of the new input. It is the new input. New input is A times the previous. But in the right side, it is not coming as square of the new input. So proportionality is not maintained. Proportionality is not maintained. Okay. If you test it for superposition, so there is no way of getting linearity. So the system is not linear. It is a non-linear system. It is not linear. Here, that one. Any question? No. Now I want to add just one more illustration to the existing concept of linearity. Let's see. Consider, let a system is described by the equation y equal to m into x, yt equal to m into xt. Okay. So if we plot, okay, say it is yt, y and x. Is the nature is y versus x. Say yt and xt. If we write y for any x, it is just related by this particular relation. So its slope is m. M is the slope of the equation. Now, if our input is changing, say for x equal to 0, y it will be 0. When x equal to what? Some value, y will be linearly related. Again, x equal to 0, it will have another value. Say x equal to negative value, y will be a negative value, and similarly this way. So this one. So ultimately we see that when our input is a sinusoid, our output will also be another sinusoid. So it is a, so we can, so that is the example of a straight line characteristics of a system. Now whether it is linear or not, how to check? Let we apply x1t for the system and we get y1t. So what is our equation? y1t equal to m x1t. Right. Now again, we apply another input and we apply x to t to the system and get y to t. So what is the system equation? Y to t equal to m into x to t. Now if we add them, what will happen? y1 t plus y to t. It will be what? If you add them, m into x1t plus x to t. So this is our new input and that is our new output. So new output is m times the new input. New output is m times the new input. So it is linearly related. It is linearly related. So it maintains proportionality. So superposition is maintained. Similarly, you can prove that. Similarly, if you multiply it with some k, what happens? K into y1t equal to m into kx1t. So new input, so it is new output. So new output is m times the new input. So we can say that it is the proportionality is maintained. So now as a whole, okay, a weighted combination can be applied. A weighted combination of input can result in the same weighted combination of output. Proof. Hence, the system is linear. Actually, this is sufficient. If you prove that thing, you need not prove all the previous one. Just this is a sufficient, necessary and sufficient proof. It's a linear system. There. But now I want to go to another system. That will make our conception complete. So page number 7. Consider that we have a system like, so yt equal to mxt plus c. C is a constant. So it's that c is the vertical intercept, m is the slope. So let we apply x1t to the system and we get y1t as output. Therefore, we can write y1t equal to m x1t plus c. And again we apply x2t to the system and we get y2t. Therefore, it is y2t equal to m into x2t plus c. M into x2t plus c. Here. Now we are adding. Now, so it is 1 and 2. On adding 1 and 2, what we get? y1t plus y2t equal to m. We can write x1t plus x2t plus 2c. The constant is different, a different constant. Okay, a different constant. Similarly, by multiplying with 1, what we get? By multiplying 1 with a, what we get? A y1t equal to m a x1t plus a into c, a different constant. So the form of the equation does not remain same. Form of the equation does not remain same. Constants are changed. The system, therefore, the system is not linear. The system is not linear. The system is not linear. Where? The system is not linear. Now, one more thing, one interesting thing is that if we take the derivative, if we take derivative, differentiate it, what do we get? Okay, dyt dt equal to m into dxt dt. That c after derivative will be 0. Or we write y dot t. Y dot means you know derivative. M into x dot t. Okay. The system is linear in terms of the derivative of input and output. If we take derivative, the system will be linear in terms of derivative of input and output. But originally it is not linear. So this is called incrementally linear system. Incrementally linear system means if there is a change in input, the change in output will be linearly related. The change in output will be linearly related. If there is a change in del x, then the change in output will be also del y, which will be linearly related. Okay. So this is the incrementally linear system. Originally it is non-linear, but in terms of change in input and output, it is linear. So it is called incremental linear system. Next, so that's all about our linearity of a system. Next, page number 8. It is now the concept of time invariance. Time invariance. What is that? Consider one system S. We apply some input xt and we get output. Say our input is some, this one is our input, say xt, and our output yt is that one, some output. Let. Now we introduce a delay in the input. So it is xt minus capital T. So input is delayed by capital T. Now if our output is same by pattern, but simply delayed, a delayed version of the original. If output is the delayed version of the original pattern of output, then the system is said to be maintaining time invariance property. So now if I teach you signals and systems from 12:30 p.m., that is in the afternoon, your learning will be something. You learn the subject in some way. Now if I start teaching the same subject from 12:30 a.m. in the midnight, so our teaching input is delayed by 12 hours. By this time, you all will be very much tired and will not be able to grasp the concept clearly because you have to go to the bed for sleeping. You all are very much tired. If I assume that my teaching input is same, it is simply delayed by 12 hours. From afternoon, it is shifted to the midnight, 12:30 p.m. 12:30 a.m., then your learning output will not remain same as it was found in the afternoon. It will be completely changed. So the pattern of the output will be changed. Input is delayed by same input but delayed by 12 hours, but your learning output will be totally different. It means the system, okay, is not maintaining the property of time invariance. Why such thing happens? Because the system characteristics change with time. When we introduce a delay of 12 hours, by this time, your body characteristics, mind characteristics, everything will be totally different. It will be changed with time. That's why you will not be able to learn. Your output will be different. So when the system characteristics change with time, then the system does not maintain time invariance property. The system does not maintain time invariance property. Now, how to know whether the system characteristics change with time or not? Simple. When a system is represented by a differential equation like yt plus a1 dyt dt plus a2 d2 yt dt2, this way, and in the input side it is b0 xt plus b1 dxt dt, this way it will be there. So these are all the constants related to the system. If a1 a2 a3 b0 b1 b2, all these things, okay, are functions of time, okay, the system characteristics change with time. Okay, the system then will be a time variant one. That is, it is not time invariant. It is not time invariant system. So when a system is represented by a differential equation and all the constants in the system, that is the constant coefficients of the system, these are the coefficients of the system. When the coefficients of the system is not a function of time, it means the system characteristics does not change with time, then it is a it is a time invariant system. It is a time invariant system. Well, example, let's see now. Page number 9. Determine whether the following systems are time invariant or not. A, yt equal to t into xt. I'll write later. So first, okay, note that first we just, okay, our equation is, okay, we apply xt and get yt. Therefore, equation is yt equal to t into xt. Okay. Now let our input is t minus capital T. Let our input is x t minus capital T, for which our output is some y1 t. Therefore, our equation is what? y1 t equal to what? Its equation is y1 t equal to, now Just we replace t with minus capital T. So t into x, t minus capital T. Okay. Note that now what is t minus capital T? T minus capital T is t minus capital T into x, t minus capital T. Okay. It means input is delayed, and here output is delayed. Therefore, we cannot write y t minus capital T equal to t into, it is not equal to t into that thing. We cannot write. But as per our equation format, a t should be here. Only thing there will be a change in input and output delay only, and no other change will be allowed. So it is not equal to that. So it is time variant system. It is time variant system. Another way we can say that yt equal to t into xt, this is not constant. This is not constant. So time, this is time variant. Just wait 1 minute. So that is our time variant system, because constant is a function of time t. Get my point? Next, so it's A. B. Yt equal to xt cos 500 pi t. So here our equation is yt equal to xt into cos 500 pi t. So this is not constant. So you can say that it is time, it is not time invariant. This is a time variant system. Our third one is yt equal to e to the power xt. Okay. C. So just I go to the next page, page number 10. Page number 10. So C. So we apply xt and get yt. So yt equal to e to the power xt. Now replacing t with minus t, what do we get? Minus t we get y t minus capital T equal to e to the power x t minus capital T. Form of the equation remains same. Hence, it is a time invariant system. It is a time invariant system. So it's a time invariant system. So that's how, so any system which is linear and time invariant is called LTI system. LTI means linear time invariant system. In our discussion throughout, we will be dealing with LTI system. We will be dealing with LTI system. Clear? So that's our discussion. But before going to the next thing, I want to say something more regarding the class. আচ্ছা আমি তোমাদের জানলাম যে তোমাদের মঙ্গলবার সকালবেলা একটা ল্যাব আছে তাই তো?
ইয়েস স্যার 12টা থেকে।
তো সেই জন্য মঙ্গলবারে তো তার মানে আর ক্লাসটা হতে পারবে না। মঙ্গলবার দিন ল্যাবের পরে সেকেন্ড হাফে কি আছে তোমাদের? ফ্রি আছো? কি কেউ কিছুই বলছে না তো?
দেখে বলছে একসেপ্ট।
হ্যাঁ মঙ্গলবার সেকেন্ড হাফে
3টে থেকে আছে স্যার।
3টে থেকে
3টে
একটা
থেকে
ক্লাস
ক্লাস।
আছে।
3টে থেকে কটা অবধি?
4টে অবধি।
3টে থেকে 4টে অবধি আছে, তারপর স্যার 5টা থেকে 6:30 অবধি আছে।
ও আবার 5টা থেকেও ক্লাস আছে? না আমি সন্ধ্যেবেলা ক্লাস নিতে পারবো না, আমার একটু অন্য অসুবিধা আছে এখন। তাহলে মঙ্গলবারটা হবে না, বুধবারই তাহলে নিতে হবে। তাহলে বুধবারে একটা কাজ করি, বুধবারই নেই সকালবেলা
না না কিছু
12টা কি
নেই।
12:30? হ্যাঁ
হ্যাঁ স্যার হবে, একদম হবে।
তাহলে আমি বুধবার 12টা কি 12:30 নেবো। আমি বুধবার সকালেই লিঙ্ক পাঠিয়ে দেবো, আগের দিন না, বুধবার সকালেই লিঙ্ক পাঠিয়ে দেবো। তোমাদের
Okay.
ক্লাসটা নিয়ে আমি সাধারণত বুধবারে ডিপার্টমেন্টে যাই, তাহলে ওই তোমাদের ক্লাসটা নিয়ে তারপরে ডিপার্টমেন্টে একটু দেরি করেই যাবো। তো আরে এখন তো মুশকিল হয়ে গেছে না, লোকে স্কুল কলেজ অফিসে যায় ক্লাসটা, স্কুল কলেজ ইউনিভার্সিটি যায় ক্লাস নেওয়ার জন্য, আর আমরা এখন বাড়িতে থাকি ক্লাস নেওয়ার জন্য। কি অদ্ভুত সিচুয়েশন। ডিপার্টমেন্টে গেলে ডিপার্টমেন্ট থেকে ক্লাস নেওয়া যায় না, কারণ ওই নেটের প্রবলেম, ইন্টারাপ্টেড হয়। এটা যারাই চেষ্টা করেছে তারাই অসুবিধায় পড়েছে। তো আমি কোনোদিন চেষ্টা করিনি ওই জন্য। আমার বাড়ির নেটটা খুব ভালো, আনইন্টারাপ্টেড, হাই স্পিড নেট, সেই জন্য আমার বাড়িতেই থেকে নিতে হবে ক্লাস। ঠিক আছে, বুধবার 12টা 12:30 এরকম সময় নেবো আমি, বুধবার সকালেই লিঙ্ক পাঠিয়ে দেবো। আর স্যাটারডে যেরকম থাকার ও তো আছেই 12টা 12:30। আচ্ছা
ওকে
তাহলে এটা হলো। এবার নেক্সট is, so I want to continue. Then now let we have one LTI system. We have one LTI system. We apply one XT as input and YT as output. Now, in an LTI system, what should be the relation between YT and XT? What should be the relation between YT and XT? Now, this particular thing we want to investigate now. Okay. So this particular thing we want to investigate now. First, we first consider one XT. Say let we have any XT any input. Okay. Now that input can approximately be segregated into a number of step functions, like one step, then now at another step we are applying. Okay. Then another step, then we are applying. Another step. So we are just go on applying this particular thing. This. So a series of step functions. And these are all the steps are applied at an interval of tau. Tau, 2 tau, 3 tau. This way say it is n tau. And this point is n minus 1 tau. And that point is, okay, n plus 1 tau. Any nth instant. N tau is any nth instant. Once we know this thing, we can represent our xt approximately, not exactly, approximately as, say, it is also happening in the left side. I am not writing. At t equal to 0, what is this value? This value is x0. At t equal to tau, that value is x tau. At t equal to 2 tau, it is x2 tau. This one, 2 tau. Similarly, this value is x n tau. That value is x, okay, n plus 1 tau. N plus 1 into tau. And that value is what? X n minus 1 into tau. So different things we are getting, different points. So approximately our xt can be represented as, say, x0 into one step function. So when we have one step function, what to write? Say it's a point A and B, and this is what? So we can write, if it is k, we can write it k into u t minus a. Okay, it's this one, our axis is that one. Okay, so at t equal to a, we are adding a step, and at t equal to b, we are cancelling the step. So u t minus b, and k is the amplitude of the step function. So here a is, so it is what? It is, we can write it is, k means here x0 into ut at one step is applied at t equal to 0, minus u t minus tau. That is one step. Plus our next step, it's multiplied with x tau, the amplitude. X tau into u. Now it is applied at what? At t equal to tau. So u t minus tau, and it is cancelled at 2 tau. U t minus 2 tau. In the left side also same thing happens. I am not writing. Okay. Plus this way at n tau, what we are applying? Its value is, amplitude is x n tau. Then u t at t equal to n tau, one step is applied. And it is cancelled at what? N plus 1 tau. Next, u t minus n plus 1 tau. Okay, so this way it will continue. Okay, so it is just not, it is not the exact representation, because when we consider it in terms of step, either we are taking some value smaller than the original xt pattern, or some for an increasing function of xt, or for decreasing function of xt, we are taking something extra, something more than the original pattern of xt. So xt is not exactly equal to this particular thing. It is an approximate thing. So therefore, the whole thing can be represented in a compact form in terms of some summation. So the next page I am writing it, page number 11. So we can write it is equal to, therefore, so we can write xt equal to approximately equal to, so it is summation x n tau. You see this one here, x n tau u, this particular term we are considering, and n is varying from, okay, minus infinity to plus infinity. N minus infinity minus ultimately minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. N will be there. So it is x n tau u t minus n tau minus u t minus n plus 1 into tau. N is varying from minus infinity to plus infinity. That is this particular thing. But when duration of tau, okay, of each samples, or I need not write samples, tau is infinitesimally small. means tau tends to 0, very small, then these two things will be exactly equal. We will not take any smaller amount of thing or larger amount of thing while accounting with the step functions. Okay, then we can write xt equal to, now exactly equal to limit tau tends to 0 summation x n tau u t minus n tau minus u t minus n plus 1 into tau. Here n is varying from minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay. Therefore, we can write it x equal to limit tau tends to 0 summation x n tau n varying from minus infinity to plus infinity u t minus n tau minus u t minus n plus 1 tau by tau. We are dividing it and again we are writing it a tau. Or we can write xt equal to summation, okay, x n tau n varying from minus infinity to plus infinity, okay, then within third bracket limit tau tends to 0 u t minus n tau minus u t minus n plus 1 tau. N plus 1 is line bracket actually. Tau into tau. That one. There. This one. Now we know what is delta function. Impulse function. It is dut dt. And if we consider the derivative, it will be limit tau tends to 0 ut minus u t minus tau by tau. That one. Now we replace t with t minus tau, t minus n tau. Then what we get? It will be delta t minus n tau equal to ddt of u t minus n tau, or it is equal to,
স্যার পেজটা একটু স্যার জুম আউট করবেন?
oh right. Thank you. Tau tends to 0. Now we are writing it. So just replace t with t minus n tau. So t minus n tau minus u t minus n tau minus tau by tau, or limit tau tends to 0 u t minus n tau minus u t minus n plus 1 tau. This is a line bracket, you know, tau. Okay. Therefore, what is our xt? This is the derivative of this impulse function. The whole thing can be written as delta t minus n tau. So xt equal to summation x n tau delta t minus n tau, where n minus infinity to plus infinity. And one more tau is there. So into tau. Yeah. So this relation I better write it as relation A, and that I write it relation B, capital B. So our xt can be written this particular. There. Now I go to the next page. Page number 12. For now, for an LTI system, we know we consider one LTI system. Our input is xt and output is yt. Okay. Now, if we apply one impulse function, delta impulse input, say our output is ht. This ht is called impulse response of the system. Means when we apply delta t as an input, then the corresponding output of the LTI system is called impulse response of the system. For a given system, ht is unique, obviously. For a given system, ht is unique. Why? Because we have applied only one particular input and no other input, delta. So if input is fixed, for a particular system, our ht will be fixed. It will be unique, and it depends on the type of the system, nature of the system. So this is called impulse response. Now, for this LTI system, we introduce a delay, t minus n tau. Input is delayed. Now, our output will also be delayed, but the pattern will be same. Why? Okay, it is time invariance property. Since it is an LTI system, therefore, it is having time invariance property. So when input is delayed by some time, output will also be delayed by the same time. Okay. Now, what happens? We multiply this delta, that particular input, with one constant x n tau. Now xt is a variable. Why? Because t is a variable. Now we choose a particular n tau. Tau is having a particular value and n is also having another particular instant. Now x of input. Now x of it's a constant. So input is multiplied by a constant. Then our output will be a constant of so when input is multiplied by a constant, output is also multiplied by the same constant. So it is what? So it is a proportionality property, which is a sub-property of linearity. Okay, it's a sub-property of linearity. Yeah. Now again, we multiply this with another constant, tau x n tau delta t minus n tau. Then our output will be what? Tau x n tau h t minus n tau. So this is what it is. It is also proportionality property, because when input is multiplied by some constant tau, output is also multiplied by the same constant tau. Now we take different values of n for one, n1, n2, n3, different instants. We are applying the input and we are getting the output. For all such n's, when inputs are applied and we get the output, when they are added, when inputs are added for all such n's, our output will also be added for all such n. It is the superposition property. So it is when we multiply tau x n tau delta t minus n tau, for all such n we are adding, then here also it will be the addition. Summation tau x n tau h t minus n tau, n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. So it is which property? Superposition property, which is a sub-property of linearity. Yeah. Now let we choose n tau equal to some variable lambda. Okay, some lambda. Now when tau is okay very small, our n tau will be a continuous variable. Okay, for all variations of n. I can give you one example. Let our tau equal to 10 and n is an integer. So how lambda will vary? When n equal to 0, lambda 0. When n equal to 1, lambda 10. N equal to 2, 20. So lambda 0, 10, 20, 30, or in the negative side, minus 10, minus 20, minus 30, minus 40. So lambda is varying in step of 10 because tau equal to 10. So tau is the step variation, step of the variation. Okay, but when tau is small, what happens? Say tau equal to 0.1. Then lambda will be 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. In the negative direction also same thing. So our step variation is, its variation is 0.2 by 0.1. When tau equal to 0.001, what it will be? Lambda is 0, 0.001, 0.002, 0.003. So our step is 0.001. So lambda is now varying more continuously because tau is very small. So when we multiply a very small quantity with an integer, that resulting quantity lambda will vary quite in a continuous manner. Okay. So in the limit when tau tends to 0, lambda will vary continuously for all such variation of n. Okay. And change in variation, change in value of lambda is tau equal to d lambda. So d lambda is a change in the value of lambda, d lambda. So tau equal to d lambda. And when and in such case also, when it is varying continuously, in such case of continuous variation, our summation sign can be replaced by integration. Therefore, what is the left hand side? Here. Therefore, our left hand side equal to this thing we can write. Okay. X n tau delta t minus n tau, and tau I am writing here. N is varying from minus infinity to plus infinity. That thing now we can write it integration. Okay. N tau is lambda. Lambda delta t minus lambda, and tau is d lambda. It is minus infinity to plus infinity. So that is our xt. Okay. And it is equal to that. Okay, that one. Better I write. And but this is what? This is equal to, okay, that is equal to our xt from B. B means our xt equal to what? Our xt equal to this one. So our this is equal to our xt. So okay, when tau is small, and we can write it that one. There. Therefore, what we can write, and what is our right hand side? This one. I just go to the next page. Page number 13. See this one. Just summation will be replaced by integration. Tau means d lambda, x n lambda, h t minus x lambda, h t minus lambda. So we can write our RHS equal to integration, or sorry, I write it summation x n tau delta t minus n tau tau. N is varying from minus infinity to plus infinity. Now I am writing x lambda, it's not delta, it's h, sorry, h t minus lambda d lambda minus infinity to plus infinity. Therefore, what happens? We can write it integration x lambda delta t minus lambda d lambda in the left hand side, and in the right hand side it is integration x lambda h t minus lambda that minus infinity to plus infinity. Or this is equal to our xt, we already know, lt, and the right hand side it is x lambda h t minus lambda d lambda minus infinity to plus infinity, where ht is the impulse response of the system, of the LTI system. So if we know impulse response ht of the system, and if we know the input xt, then we can find out the output of the LTI system, which is actually that particular relation. Therefore, this is our what? If we compare our first block, we apply xt and get yt, okay? And this is our xt and that is our output. Comparing it with our first block, first figure. First figure means this one. So our yt equal to integration x lambda h t minus lambda d lambda minus infinity plus infinity. This is the output. This is called, this particular mathematical operation is called convolution integral. So the convolution operation modifies the input with its impulse response function in such a manner so that we get the output from the system. So convolution integral transforms one input into output. It transforms one input to output. Okay, it transforms one input to output following convolution integral. This operation can be represented in a simple form as xt convolution operation ht. Star is the convolution integral operator. So it is the operator of convolution integral. It is the operator of convolution integral. Clear? Any doubt? I like to stop today with this particular thing. But before leaving, tell me whether there is any doubt or anything, any question. No doubt? Thank you. Now